What's up and welcome back, YouTube family. It's your girl Drika Will and we back with another video. Today I'm in a different setting. I'm in my car. I hikey wanted to switch it up, you know, from the little cozy couch setting set up, so we'll see how this does. You know, we'll see if this is like aesthetically pleasing for your eyes. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. And did I forget to say, I believe you can, I believe you will? Let's do it. So I want to talk about a topic that is like grinding my gears, y'all, for reasons that have not actually been, you know, talked about as much for some reason. I know y'all already seen the title today. We're gonna be talking about bonnets. We talking about bonnets again. Yes, another bonnet conversation. So if y'all want to talk about bonnets, then get off my channel. No, I want you guys to hear what I have to say because I feel like it's a little bit different, you know, from what, you know, has been commonly put out there. And unfortunately, I'm gonna just tell y'all right off bat right now, I am team mind your business. I'm team mind your business and do as you please if it ain't hurting the world. But unfortunately, I can't leave it at a mind your business, so I'm gonna break it down to y'all. Before you guys get upset and start leaving crazy nasty comments under this video or DMing me foolishness, DMing me paragraphs, please, as I always ask, just watch the entire video for full context. Even if you don't watch the entire thing in one setting, just watch the entire video to fully grasp what I'm actually saying. But let's talk about the bonnet conversation. Now, I'm gonna keep it 100. I feel like the bonnet conversation has exposed the amount of ignorance and the lack of willingness to hear one another out, and how everybody is just screaming over each other and I'm right, I'm this, and what I say goes, and it's my opinion over yours. I just feel like that's what this conversation has been, and it's been really frustrating to be a part of and watch. If y'all know anything about me, I'm pro black woman. I want to see us win. I want to see us win. I want to see us unite. But this conversation about bonnets is causing so much division and strife amongst the black community. It's crazy. Granted, I know while I'm filming this, I'm kind of late because the bonnet conversation is starting to die down. But before it dies down, you know, I had to put my little 2-3 cents in. But yeah, hopefully what I have to say can add value and, you know, kind of like soothe and ease some of the strife, at least to the people that I'm able to reach. You know, I can't reach thousands of people because that's not who my platform is catering to right now at the moment. But, you know, the few people that do watch and listen to what I have to say, I really would hope that this would add value and just cause us to think differently and see life in a different way than the way that we normally do. So I'm unpacking this from my own observations. Like I said earlier, I would love to leave this whole bonnet conversation at a good mind your business, you know, or do you, let them do them. But we now have folks otherizing people, generalizing them, grouping them off, isolating them. I've heard there are all types of terms being attached to women who wear their bonnets, specifically black women who wear bonnets in public. Dirty, ghetto, ratchet, stank, ugly, don't bathe, don't brush their teeth, don't value themselves, etc., etc. And then the people who push back on it, they're being told that they're fake mad, or they don't know how to take an opinion, or they can't handle criticism, or, you know, they need to care about themselves more. There's just so much pushback surrounding this bonnet conversation. Like, people aren't allowed to have opinions. It's like, dang, when were we allowed to stop having opinions, you know? Oh, and then I even watched a video from a YouTuber that I don't even know if I'm really a fan of, you know, most says. After this video, she went on to say that you know, women who wear bonnets in public, they're not high value, and they're also missing out on opportunities. I'm just like, what? I'm on my way to the grocery store. So with all of this, I think this conversation does deserve another set of some unpacking. Whenever conflict and strife arises, I'm team let's talk it out. Let's unpack it. Let's get to the source, okay, what the issue could potentially be. I'm not even here to like go on a spiel about what Monique said. Like, that's not what this video is about. A lot of what I'm going to say in this video is definitely going to touch some of the things that she did mention and bring up in her videos as well. My first issue with this bonnet conversation is that it is a completely subjective conversation and topic, meaning ultimately this is a personal choice and decision that people make, okay, and that it's not affecting the black community as a whole as much as people are making it out to be. If you think that the oppression that Black people experience in society and the disrespect that Black people experience in society is linked to a silk cap on top of somebody's head. Not only do you have a blurred view of just oppression and what it is and the experience of it and the roots of it, but you're also playing into respectability politics. So you mean to tell me you think we'll be more accepted by our oppressors if we look more put together in public? Whatever put together is for some people, because everybody's opinion of put together looks different. Why? Because it is subjective. I wish that Black acceptance was dependent upon a silk bonnet being up on our heads, because y'all, that would change the world. It would. It would stop us from getting shot at. It would stop our brothers from getting shot at and killed. It would stop police brutality, racial injustice against Black people, all these things that have been happening to us, systemic oppression and everything. It would stop all of that if we were to remove the silk bonnet. If that was one of the main issues, or if that was even an issue, that Black people don't get respected, okay? But let's just face it, our oppression, as I said, is systemic. They will shoot you in your three-piece suit. They will murder you in your sleep. They will deny your application with the most Caucasian name ever, dehumanize you with the straightest hair, and demean you with the highest education level. The bonnet doesn't affect you or us in society. It doesn't. But let me continue and give you guys some more points, because I know for some of y'all, you're like, I know you're ready to like pop off. Hold your fingers, keyboard. Hold on, keyboard fingers. Hold on. Give me a second. Let this video finish. So the pushback I get from that point that I made is that, well, you got to understand the era that Monique grew up in, as well as a lot of our mothers and aunties. They had to present themselves in a certain way, which is true. And let me say this to that. Shout out to everybody who fought for civil rights, because guess what? Now we have the civil right to look how we want to, as long as it's not breaking the law. Like, I don't think people get it, but we're still somehow trying to appease to the white gaze centuries later, as though it's helping us. It's not helping us. It's not helping us at all, y'all. I'm sorry, it's not. Let's not forget, I will not deny that the Black community is being oppressed by the system we live in. I'm gonna keep continuing to reiterate that. But let me say this. The little liberties that Black folks do have today, as little as being able to go to the grocery store with a silk bonnet on their head, minding their own business. Let them be. They're literally not forcing you to look at them or engage and interact with them. They're not forcing you to touch their disgusting bonnet, because that's the quote that's, it's disgusting, something that you wear in the bed. What if I don't even put my bonnet on when I go to sleep, but I just so happen to put it on when I go to the grocery store because I don't want people to see my hair? Oh, you go wear a hat. So dang, I can't wear what I want to wear no more? I know I sound a little defensive. I probably am slightly, but I wear my bonnet probably like 10% out of the year. I can't find my bonnet half the time. I don't even sleep in my bonnet. I don't even waste my time sleeping in it because it don't even stay on my head. That's a whole nother topic, because I sleep wild. But I digress. And for the folks that keep saying that we can't take criticism, the comments and the things that I'm seeing, they are surpassing criticism. They are surpassing opinions. At this point, they are insults that are trying to be made facts. A lot of y'all are literally telling other Black women that their value is at an all-time low and their rank is at a low because of a piece of silk on top of their head in the store, because you don't like how it looks. Like, that's literally how simple it is. I feel like it's shallow remarks and it's wild assumptions, because you really don't know the person most of the time. Like, most of the people y'all seeing, y'all don't know them personally. And you probably have relatives that you do know personally, but you can't attach what you know about that person to the other person. That's the same type of judgment that's being projected upon the Black community, okay? Just for being Black. They're assuming that all Black people are a certain way. Is that the case? Is that true? No. But anyway, that's gonna be in a further point. Folks have made claims that it's all hood and ghetto women, even down to the demographic. And to that, let me say this: you can't call somebody hood or ghetto based off of the demographic that they reside in. That's just where they live. I've met some of the most articulate and intellectual women who live in and reside in these areas. It's almost as though they never picked up on the hood or ghetto culture. They don't even really use AAVE. At the end of the day, y'all, blanket statements and assumptions just make you judgmental. That's really what it is. And look, I know y'all would love to group the public bonnet wearing squad all together, but you literally cannot. And to add to that, there are so many men and women who differ economically as well as demographically when it comes down to this bonnet issue. It's like everybody, the opinions are really all over the place. Like, and I can see why it's divisive, but it's actually, that's not the issue. The issue isn't the difference in opinion. The issue is when we start making insults and start trying to separate black people from one another. That's when it becomes an issue. I can't explain to you why people wear bonnets in public, because at the end of the day, that's the person's personal decision on what they do, and it's not harming you. And folks will still argue that. They will still argue that as not a valid reason, as though opinions and preferences have just disappeared off the ends of the earth and they no longer matter. And that kind of leads me to my next point. I want to talk about the black legalism that is heavy in this bonnet conversation. It's not a monolithic experience from the way that we speak, from the way that we look, and where we live. The black experience varies. But I would love to close with this last part, and this might even have to go into another video, because this is like the deepest and the heaviest part of this entire conversation. The comments about not being able to handle criticism. Let's dig into that. I like to consider myself half Gen Z, half millennial. I was born in 95, so my birth year is like right on the cusp. It's like I barely made it onto either side, so I consider myself both sometimes, depending on the situation. In this case, I'm gonna ride on over to Gen Z. Now, I know my generation can be extremely triggered and hypersensitive about everything under the sun. But I believe this topic in particular is triggering because it's tapping those wounds from childhood that were never dealt with or addressed. This is triggering, I believe, because it's tapping into a lot of wounds that a lot of us as black children were given when we were younger. A lot of us got slapped and we were told to fix our face as though we're supposed to just hold our composure and be all calm and zen after being inflicted with pain. A lot of us would try and ask questions, but we gotta because I said so. Or we would be accused of questioning our parents and being called disrespectful. Expressing our negative emotions in the form of tears or even a passionate tone or a frown, that also was looked down upon in most black households. The cure for crying was to get hit. Like, if you was crying, they gonna give you something to cry for. Why would you give me something to cry for? I'm already crying. Like, clearly, I already have a reason to be crying. Sometimes, some of us didn't see it coming, or we didn't even understand why we were being slapped. You would just feel and there was no follow-up where we went wrong or what was the actual error that took place. So there was not really a room to like grow and like, okay, help me do better with this, you know, like help me to understand where and how I was wrong. And any mention of anything going on with you mentally, that was offensive to your parents. Sounds familiar, right? Sounds more like a slave experience rather than a parent to child experience, if you ask me. But I come from the sensitive generation, so I could just be being sensitive right now. But on the real, the slave owners limited their slaves and they looked for any opportunity to beat them. Now, what I'm not saying is that all black parents look for any reason to beat their kids. I don't think parents are just going around looking for reasons to hurt and harm their children. Granted, now there are parents who do that, but I'm not saying that that is what I believe is coming out of the heart and expression out of most of these black parents. And y'all, I'm not anti-whooping either. But y'all, I do believe that a lot of these things are learned patterns and behaviors from slavery. So the trigger that's happening with this bonnet conversation with the other generation is because it's like we're being shut down and nobody's even trying to hear what we're saying. A lot of black women right now are stating their case, they're sharing their opinion, and they're being told to shut down. And that's triggering, you know, they're being demeaned in the process and being ridiculed and told that they ratchet, they ugly, that they ghetto, they ain't bathed, and this is that and the third. That's triggering. I don't think the triggers are in the opinions of, oh, I don't think it's a good look. Like, I don't think that's a trigger for people. The triggers are in the insults and the lack of space to be able to freely express ourselves with the freedoms that we do have. I have no issues with the previous generation giving advice and helping correct us and giving us wisdom and teaching us how to grow and just be better people. But I feel like they could also learn from us as well. And we can learn to cordially agree and disagree on matters that aren't necessarily harmful to the community or ourselves. No one is trying to ignore the previous generation, but they wasn't right about everything either. That's another video. Y'all, I honestly wish that we could have more healing and effective conversations that would actually transform and change the Black community and help us unite more. I wish we could focus on how to better equip the Black family so that we can make more of an impact in this world that we're living in. I wish we could talk about financial literacy and best practices and preparation for how to further an education. I wish we could talk about how to start and sustain a business, mental health, character development, and whatever else we need to become better and stronger as a community. All in all, this bonnet conversation is shallow to me. It is a waste of time because it's not changing anything and it's not changing the world. It's not stopping oppression. It ain't ending world hunger, okay? And it's definitely not impacting character development. But that's all I have for you guys today. And remember, leave those petty comments out of the comment section. I will see y'all at the next video. Remember, Drika can, Drika will. I believe you can, I believe you will. Bye, guys.